Hey, She Slayers, and welcome to another episode of She Slays the Day podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lauryn Brunswick, and today I have on a doppelganger, an RN named Alyssa Schomaker, and I found her online, and she helps healthcare providers launch online businesses. And I was like, oh my God, I do the same thing. We do similar things, right? Like, so in looking at her program, I think that, you know, she tends to help people find within their niche to launch the course or things like that. And I think in our, like, why I wanted to have a conversation with her is, you know, I really like to push back at healthcare providers to just stop going the, like, that route that really worked really well from about 2020 to about 2024. You talk to, and not that you can't, I mean, we just had our biggest launch ever on a course. Like, it's not, courses are not dead, but they're definitely not what they used to be. And so, you know, in the membership that I have, I will actually push back at people of like, okay, why do you want this? What are you building? Do you want this to have anything to do with your career? Because so often I'll have a chiropractor come in and like their niche is like, I help regulate nervous systems with chiropractic. And I'm like, that's so boring. No offense, but you're not going to become the next global sensation. Like, what are you selling online? You know, type of thing. So I'm just definitely a pusher backer on people. Speaking of that, so, well, not really. So I cheated on Instagram. Speaking of social media is what I should say. I cheated on Instagram. And I keep cheating. And I'm starting to develop a little bit of a love affair with TikTok. And there's no need for an intervention. It's fine. But it started around the beginning of December, where my good friend Elise Rigney was talking about some kind of like TikTok crafting thing. Or no, she shared something just on Instagram stories. And she's like, just for those of you who are wondering what's happening over on TikTok. And it was hilarious. And I hadn't been on TikTok in over a year. And I was like, I should really like try it out. So I try it out and the algorithm over there, holy cow, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. It read me amazing. It knew like, this is what's going to hook you, keep you. I'm like finding low calorie, high protein, recipes, crafting that has gotten me all up in sorts of mix, stacked waters. And what is the other thing? Oh, golden retrievers. Yep. Oh, and travel, lots of travel, lots of 5-star resorts and all inclusive in the US and all that stuff. So it hooked me. It was great. I also realized how easy it is to buy over there. TikTok shop. Wow. Meta, what are you doing? Y'all, if you're an Instagram girly or boy, if you're a boy, you need to be prepared for if Instagram starts to roll out their equivalent of TikTok shop. It is 2 buttons. It is so easy. And like, honestly, it's just like people selling stuff. All right. How do I say this as somebody who sells online programs without making me seem shitty? Like, that's why I was kind of exhausted with Instagram is everybody was selling something that I needed, but not that I wanted. Like, yeah, I follow a lot of really amazing programs or people on Instagram and they're selling, you know, courses on how to get good at your ads and all this stuff. And then I go to TikTok and it's like face balms and weird toys for my kids. And like, I bought them these like lollipops that I had to double check when I actually got it. I was like, do these have drugs in them? Did I accidentally buy? Because they're clearly for people at a rave. But you like suck on the lollipop and it plays music inside your head. Do I need it? No. Did I want it? Yup. Absolutely. So the TikTok shop scene is great. It's like, but Gary Vee has been talking about this live shopping, that it is where the economy is going. Now, I think he's talking about Shopify, or there's a different one that he uses. I feel like it's Shopify. So he's obsessed with this very specific platform, but he will reference TikTok Shop frequently. Like being able to sell a product live is like what is coming. It may not be coming until like 2027 for us, like brick and mortar, but like if I had a boutique, I would be on TikTok. Again, I am sorry to all the Instagram people out there. I love Instagram. I love my community over there. I really, really do. But I need to figure out what I want to sell. Like, am I selling pajama? I don't know what I need to sell. What do I need to sell? Pajamas? And like, how do they, because it's not their thing. I need to go down a rabbit hole and understand TikTok Shop and live shopping. I need somebody to come on and talk to me about that, because I think this is where we could be selling supplements. This is where, what else could we sell? What kind of stuff could we sell, people? I don't know. Just be prepared, because it is coming. It is absolutely coming. It's also just the nature of the people on there. Like, it tends to be a lot more Gen Z. They are building a brand, pure personal brand, with maybe not so much intention around how to monetize. Whereas over on Instagram, it's my millennial people. Hello. And we're smart about this. Like, we know we've done our work on our niche, our messaging, our core deliverables, and we can see a path to monetization. So it just, there's more strategy over on Instagram. We're on TikTok. It's just like, yeah, I like that purse. Cool, I'll buy it. Like, yes, I learned dirty sodas too. Really, where I live, dirty sodas are not a big thing yet. And here I am. Well, it was like kind of more of the stacked water. So like I went on full script and just ordered chlorophyll and blue spirulina. Y'all, on my hydration journey, I calculated it. I'm spending like $12 to $15 a day. I am drinking like maybe too much water. Maybe it's possible I'm drinking too much water. But yeah, I'm making my stacked waters. So anyways, the last thing that I will say that was drastically different is over on TikTok, I'm just a consumer. I don't post on TikTok. So therefore, when I log in, I don't have any DMs. I don't have any comments to manage. I don't need to look at my most recent post and feel shame or self-doubt that it did well or it didn't do well. It's just me showing up, just looking for the algorithm to show me stuff that I want. And I will say that for those of you who are not putting intention into building a personal brand, I get it why being a consumer is nice. There's not self-judgment. I get why there's so many trolls, people out there who are not putting content out there, and they just get to go from person to person and judge and judge and judge because they're not putting content out there and judging themselves enough, I guess. So as of now, I just want to be clear. I love my Instagram community. I love going in there and having DMs and comments, and I'm sending voice memos back to people. But it's kind of like, all right, here's the analogy I would make to it, where it's like, let's say there's like a local fundraiser and you're like getting dressed up and you're going and like all of your couple friends are going to be there and like all of your like acquaintances that from different businesses, and it's going to be fun. You're going to have drinks, you're going to dance. Like, this isn't networking, but like you're also a doctor in that community, right? So you're having a great time. Versus you get to go to like a rave in Brooklyn and do Molly. I've never done drugs, super clear. But if I was, I think MDMA, MDMA, I think is the one I'm supposed to do, or Molly, or maybe they're the same. I'm not sure. I really don't know, to be honest. Am I going to do drugs someday? I don't know. I'd have to clear it with my cardiologist because I'm in rhythm and my heartbeat is finally not going 120 miles per hour. I know I'm not allowed to do cocaine. I'm pretty sure I know that I have a very addictive personality to getting skinny and being productive. And pretty sure that we all know that cocaine would just tick off 2 buckets way too much. So I have to keep a far distance from there. But anyways, so I'm at a rave, I'm dancing, nobody knows, and I'm on Molly. I don't know what that would feel like, but it looks on TV like it's really fun and carefree. Okay? That's how I'm explaining Instagram versus TikTok. One is just a little more who gives a fuck than the other. So there we go. So I cheated on Instagram. So do you want to talk about our guest today? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so here we go. Hold on. Let me find Alyssa's thing. So Alyssa Schomaker, I think it's Schomaker. Or it's Shoemaker, but I'm pretty sure it's Schomaker. She is the founder of Freedom Collective Co. and the Online Health Business Academy, where she helps healthcare professionals or health providers turn their clinical expertise into cult brands. Ooh, yes, I did just say that. Turn their clinical expertise into cult brands. I like that messaging. That's sexy. And scalable online offers that delivers medical expertise to many. She's on a mission to help providers ditch burnout, build online scalable businesses, and create freedom without the one-to-one grind. Lovely. Okay, let's pray. Dear God, please don't be mad at me for saying I want to do Molly or MDMA sometime. I'm just joking. Just joking, God. Be with everybody today who has to be on social media. Like, gosh, a lot of us really didn't sign up for this. And so many of us are like, so thankful for this tool that helps us get a message out. But also, I just know how much mental health issues that it does contribute to people and their self-worth. I don't know how to protect my children as they grow up in this world. I barely know how to protect my own self-love, self-image, self-worth, while being on social media. So God, I just hope that everyone listening today who has to post for their business or for fun, that they are reminded in this moment as we pray that you are the only one whose opinions matter and that your grace is enough and that their self-worth is not dependent on how many views or how many shares or if they went viral or how many followers, and is truly just in how much they look to you for guidance to become a better person. In your name we pray. In your name we pay and pray. Amen. 300 and some episodes, and I'm not any better at prayer. I had somebody the other day who was like, oh, I listened to one of your episodes for the first time, and I don't know if you do this every time, but you did a little prayer, and that was really nice. And I was like, I do it every time. And I had another person, who was it? I don't know who it was, but they were like, do you still do that? And I was like, I do pray still before we start a podcast. Who doesn't need a little reminder? Who doesn't need a little reminder just that our egos are running the show and they should not be? I think we all can relate to that a little bit. I digress. Without further ado, here is my conversation with Alyssa Schomaker. Shoot, I suck at this. And don't try and become friends with me on TikTok yet because I don't even know where to accept friends on there yet, but follow me on Instagram. All right. Enjoy. Well, Alyssa, welcome to the show. So how did I find you? I don't know. The algorithm. I'm actually annoyed with the algorithm that it took this long to find you, to be honest, because there's 2 things I know about you so far, and is that you help healthcare providers build personal brands, and you love
Sure.
Mumford & Sons.
Oh, yes, I do. I do love Mom from Sons.
I literally, I don't know what took the algorithm so long to be like, hey, Lauryn, you might like this person. Okay, so you were at their concert in October. Which city?
I was in the Pittsburgh show.
Okay. I missed this entire tour because I was waiting until they were coming to Minneapolis, and that's my local, the closest venue that they usually come to.
So I'm from Minnesota. So I didn't know this about you. That's so crazy.
Yeah. And then we ended up it was like a couple days before we were leaving for Italy. And it was just like, we had to make a hard decision and it didn't work out, and I'm regretting it now. And so now I'm like looking, and they're like in Australia, and I'm like, damn it, we're gonna have to go to like London or something like that to see him, because yeah, so but I really want them to bring Winston back, and they haven't asked me yet, but that's just my opinion. Okay, so then let's talk about the other thing. So what's your background in healthcare? How did you get into this area of expertise of helping healthcare providers?
Yeah, so my background, I'm a registered nurse with a master's degree. And originally, I was getting my nurse practitioner. And when I was in school, I kind of had a vision of what was going to be taking place ahead. And I decided that I did not want to get my nurse practitioner. So instead, I started an online business. And this was 13 years ago. I started a business helping other health providers get healthy and fit. So I built a brand called The Fit Nurse. And that was the first business that I had. And it was an online health and wellness business that helps other health providers just stay healthy, being the 12-hour shifts and all of the stress and just the different things that go along with being in healthcare. So that was the first business. And then while I was building that, I would say probably 4 years ago, I had just some nurse practitioners reach out and ask how I started to build online. And so I just started taking those clients on basically one-on-one on the side. I didn't have any like modality or anything that I was bringing them through. And then from there, I ended up having a transition in my fitness business 2 years ago. And I had other providers coming to ask what I was doing and how to build. And so that's what really led me to building online and teaching other providers how to build online. So it was this was like natural, organic thing that ended up happening. And then I found myself kind of back where I was when I started, because when I first started, it was all one-on-one clients that I was taking on. I had brought out a modality. I got the freedom in my life. And then I went back to one-on-one again. And I was like, oh, I can't do this. So
I mean,
I ended up
yeah, I mean, the whole thing of escaping, I don't want to say escaping healthcare. There's lots of different reasons to dodge that bullet, but like the one-on-one is one of the things that holds back healthcare providers from being able to create like exponential wealth, is because it's like you can only get so much wealth when your time, it's more the time exchange that happens in one-on-one.
Right. And I thought that I made it when I first went into the online space and I had one-on-one because I was out of the healthcare sector and I had more control of my time. But I found myself sitting in my desk for 6 hours a day, and that's not really what I call freedom. So I created the Online Health Business Academy so that I could take other providers through building online businesses. And so that's really what I've been focusing on for the last 2 years, is building that.
Yeah. What has been the most surprising thing for you in working with healthcare providers, like in this space?
The perfectionism, which doesn't really come by surprise, right? Because, we have to be perfect. Otherwise, in healthcare, we'll end up doing something really lethal to somebody.
Right.
But the perfectionism and always having to know the exact right thing to do is not how we necessarily build in
I
business,
feel
right?
like you literally nailed it on the head so well. Like, I didn't even tell you I was going to ask that question, but like, I'm not, right before getting into this interview, I was doing a training on imposter syndrome. And one of the reasons, like, we broke down why this is such a big thing for the healthcare providers is because as a healthcare provider, you are, like, you have malpractice. You have your scope of practice. Like, I'm not, like, because there are things that in practice I am not allowed to say to a patient. And then I can go online and literally say whatever the fuck I want, type of thing, And so they're just like, the perfectionism. Yes, it is a huge hurdle that they really, because one of the things that I repeat over and over and over, every single one of my students could say, is that we are going for B- work. And like, you would never tell someone, I want you to be a B- doctor. They're going to be like, I'm sorry, what? Like, no, you're right. Like you could get sued for being a B minus doctor, like type of thing. But it's like in the online world, it's like, no, no, no. If you're worrying about being A plus perfectionist, you're gonna rarely ever post, and then when you do, it's not gonna get the response you think it did. Like we think, like here's the deal: if every time I posted an A plus post, it went viral, I would be okay with posting 4 times a month. Like, do you agree? I'd be like, all right, fine. If every time I posted, it was like 500,000 views, I'd be like, all right, you can post 4. But you don't. Like, it's the posts that don't, you like, that you're like, that one? That one did well?
Yeah, it's the ones that you spend the least amount of time on that totally take off.
Yeah. So the perfectionism. So how do you help people overcome that? Like, what do you say to them? Oh my God, if you say I tell them to do B minus work, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, we're the same.
I tell them it's a lot of messy action, and this is where we get to bring in our creativity and we get to play and we get to have fun, and like nobody's gonna die in this process, so it doesn't really matter. And to really bring that guard down. And also, I let them know too that like nobody really cares that they're a doctor. Nobody really cares how much schooling they're Harvard trained. Nobody really cares about any of that kind of stuff. And
You
I
don't think
think
so?
that no, no, not at
Oh,
all.
really? I don't
Yeah.
know. I think that there are. Well, wait, what do you mean by that? Because yeah, what do you
So
mean
what
by
I
nobody
find is that a lot of the providers just talk like way over the head of the people that they're trying to really market and message to. And the ego of I have this certification, this schooling,
Oh,
all
yeah, yeah, yeah.
can really impede you from getting down to the level that you need to be on to make the connection and to make the sales. And if you
Yeah.
like humble yourself down to that language, it's going to be really hard for you to convert to online.
Okay. So, okay, I'm glad I asked. I think so. What you're talking about is nobody, like, you don't need to keep bringing it up in your content and no, like, but I do think that in your bio, like, those things do set you apart because there's so many non doctors online,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Like there's so
Oh
many
yeah.
people giving out health advice. And so like I'm like, no, if you are a doctor or a nurse or whatever, like you should say that, but you don't need to keep bringing it like once they're following you, and I don't know, everybody cares about Harvard. If you went to Harvard for cosmetology, I would say like put that you're from Harvard. Because it does
Yeah,
trip
but the
people
thing
up.
is, I've had clients that are from Harvard, and unless they like get it down and really dive into the marketing
You
and the
have to be
message
able to communicate. Yes.
correct,
Yep.
then it doesn't really land. And then, they
Yes.
can be really upset that, look, like I have all of this schooling. How is this influencer making more money than I am online?
Yes,
Like,
I
please,
totally agree with you. Like, it's only going to get you so far. It's going to open, you might get a little bit more of their attention by saying, like, I'm a doctor who graduated from Harvard. But then if everything that comes after that just falls flat, they won't care. They will not care at all. You are boring. You're overcomplicating things. Yeah. So I definitely agree with that of like, if you can't deliver um, a message that is going to have impact in somebody's life, if you can't keep attention, if you're terrible at editing or whatever, then like, no, it won't. Um, so when you're working with docs and healthcare providers, like, how do you get them? Like, how do you respond when they are really in their head about like scope of practice or, like, because there is like these two different rules of like online and like some people will be like, I'll have people who like want to put this is not medical advice at the end of every caption because like and I'm like, no, you don't have to do, but they're going to like continuing education things, and these people teaching social media at the continuing education thing should not be, they're like, you should not be friends with any of your patients online. And it's like, okay, well, I have a public account, so I don't have control over that, and things like that. So how do you get them like to realize this is a different game that they're playing than they've been told in their continuing ed class and things like that?
so It depends on what kind of like business and program that they're going to develop. Some of my doctors are in contracts where they can't be patient facing. They can only do contracts. They can only do like courses or memberships where it's strictly education. So it really depends on the individual and what's going on if their contract. If they don't have any kind of contract at all, then I will have them put like at the top, like this is not like medical advice to be
For
able to
all of their
protect.
reels?
No, just at the top of their bio. At the top of their bio. If there's somebody that is like working for an institution and has contracts and stuff like that, that is one thing that we'll do to protect them. But ultimately, it's a different business that they're growing altogether. And we're not like for me, a lot of time I'm not even working within their scope of licensure. We're creating courses, we're creating memberships, we're creating like and none of that even matters. Now, if we were building out like a telehealth platform that really had to do with their licensure and they could only practice in that
Different.
state,
Very different.
that would
Yeah.
be different. But a lot of these people don't really even want to practice with their license, right? They're trying to get away from the borders of the state and be able
Right.
to practice
That's the whole point. Yeah.
nationwide or even globally. So that's the other thing too, is getting them to understand that like we're not working underneath our medical scope with our information. We're doing coaching, or we're doing consulting, or we're teaching some education.
So, okay, sorry. I was like, I'm working on active listing, and then the idea or the question I was going to ask you just went like right out of my head. Um, Okay. So one of the reasons that I wanted to bring you on was I wanted to talk about this question that I got from somebody about what would you do if you were starting tomorrow from 0 followers. But before we answer that, I remembered the other question. When you're talking to a provider and they're like, "Oh, they don't see the importance of a personal brand." Like this is something that I'm like trying to like shake people up right now because like Gary Vee he's shouting this from the rooftops like you need a personal brand. It's not going to be optional. And right now, even though there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people who are ahead of you, they started last year. They started in 2019. Yes, they already have traction. There's still plenty of space online to start a personal brand. You're not too late, but like you got to start. So for people who don't seem to like understand, like what do you say to that?
I mean, it's a non-negotiable. This is how people are buying these days. If they, for dentists, chiropractors, dermatologists, anything, I'm going to their social media pages first and I'm looking for that evidence. I'm looking for that credibility. And if I go to your page and I don't see anything about that, I don't know anything about you, I'm not going to buy from you. And it's just a different kind of consumer that we have.
Yeah, and that's only going to get progressively, I don't want to say worse, but it's going to get more in that, like we're not even like chat SEO is coming, like there's so many things coming down. So, okay, well, I guess she agrees. She agrees. It's non-negotiable. It's kind of like saying I am going to pass on AI. Like I just don't think AI is for me. It's like, well, I don't think that's really an option, Chad. I think you need it. Okay, so then the original question that you're on here to ask. So you are a healthcare provider and you want to start making money online, but you have zero. Is Instagram your place of choice?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
mine too. So we'll follow this for Instagram rules because I think they might be slightly different on TikTok but we're Instagram girlies. So, what are you doing if you are starting from zero as a healthcare provider looking to build a brand in 2026?
So I would say the majority of my clients have no social media
Okay.
presence when they
So
get
you're
started with
like,
me.
I know how to give this answer because I have to do it all the time.
We do it all the time. I mean, so the biggest thing is figuring out number one, what problems are you going to be solving for these clients? The faster that we can figure out exactly who our avatar is, the problems and the desires that she has, the easier it is for you to be able to make content. So that was what I would suggest first is figure out exactly who it is that you're talking to. Then once you know who you're talking to, then it's about creating content that embodiment content, activation content, and content that shows your leadership. I would rotate through those three kinds of content, because those three kinds of content not only hit the buyer's marketing journey, which you're going to be taking people through, but it also will help to convert content a lot faster for you. And in the beginning, you have to show up. I talk to my clients, it's like, if you are just opening up a convenience store and your store is not open 5 to 7 days a week, that store is going to get skipped, because the other store is open and they are consistent and people know what to expect with that store. So when you are building, it is absolutely non-negotiable that you are posting 5 to 7 times a week in the beginning to get your content going and to really be consistent, because the way that the algorithm works is it's going to start to categorize you based on the posts that you're putting out. And you'll notice that you're in like a 200 jail, like typically when you get started. And then if you're consistent enough, you'll go up to the 2000 jail is the next one that I call
Mhm.
it. And then we'll break into like the 10,000
I
jail.
never
And then
thought about the 2000 jail. There is a 2000 jail.
there's a 2000
I have
jail.
friends who have very large accounts and their reels get 1900 to 2500 views, and I'm like, this is so weird. Why? But okay. So anyway, so yeah, the 2000 jail. What's the next jail? I'm probably in it.
Well, I notice it's about 3 months of my clients consistently posting. Even if their content kind of like is not the best, just because they don't know what to do yet, And so they're just, it's like a toddler learning how to walk, but they're messy and they're showing up. 200 jail. And then about 2.5, 3 months in, they'll start popping off. They'll have one that will go to 2000, another one that will go to 2000. And then all of a sudden now, none of their posts are in the hundreds. All of them start going into the thousands. And those that are good with the social media and have kind of dialed in the messaging and marketing a little bit before that, you'll notice them have to pop off a little bit earlier. But for the people that are just getting started, it's really, I can see it happening. I've got clients right now where it's literally they're at the 3 month mark and I'm watching them all go out of the 2000 jail. So it's really the consistency of it. And the more that you can really lean into their problems and their desires and nail that messaging, because I think one of the things that we hear is just keep posting. And you can keep posting all you want. But if you don't know how to message, if you don't have the marketing message nailed down, you're just going to post until the cows come home. And maybe eventually your content will end up converting. But I can take a look at somebody's content right away and I can tell you if they're making money off of their content or they're not. It's
Right.
not very difficult once you know what you're looking for.
Right. So, okay. So you said you talked about 3 different types of content: embodiment, and what were the other
Yeah,
two?
embodiment, like leadership content and activation content.
Okay. So can you give some examples of like what that is?
Yeah. So, like, activation content would be you really speaking to their problems and kind of agitating what their problems are, but then flipping it to be able to show that there's another way. That's what an activation kind of content would be. And embodiment content is really about you showing the life, showing that you not only are living this life, but that you are embodied in this. So it could be, a lot of like what I like to show is like the protocols or the insides of the processes. That would be more of like the embodiment type of content. And then your leadership content, really, that's like your testimonials, your case studies, your before and afters, anything that can show somebody on the other line that not only does this person know what she's talking about, but she helps people get results just like me.
Okay. Got it. Now, the first thing you said was figuring out who you're talking to. And I think that, and I'm curious, I'm very, very assuming that you and I have a similar opinion on this. So a lot of times what I'll get when I'll ask someone, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I know my niche. And I'm like, great. What's your niche? I help overwhelmed and burnt out women re-find themselves, lose weight, get more energy. Let's see what else, and balance the rhythms of life that is motherhood and entrepreneurship. And I'm like, wow, I fell asleep while you were talking. And I'll go like, and what's hard is because they see accounts, bigger accounts that have a lot of bigger accounts can get away with a broader niche. We'll call it the Jenna Kutcher syndrome, right? Of like, first of all, that person probably started a long time ago. It
Yeah,
was a
she was
different,
on when I was on, so I would say 2012.
yeah,
I mean, Jenna's been around forever.
yeah. So it's like back then you could, there's lots of women out there or like functional med docs out there who are very famous just by being like, I help women balance their hormones. But in 2026, would you say that that is an acceptable niche?
No. No, you have to get so much more specific and even include
Just
some
in case
different.
everybody thought I was full of shit, she agrees too. Like, you can't do it.
You can't. And the thing is you don't even need to have thousands of followers to make a six-figure business.
No.
And I think that's where people get it all wrong. They're chasing all this virility. They're chasing all of these followers and all these likes. I have a page, it probably has 160,000 followers on it. I don't even use it. It's on Facebook. I don't even use that page. Why? Because it was a fitness business page that I built. Now I'm teaching health providers how to build online businesses. So even though we're professionals, even though they're people in health, they followed that page all for fitness. So when I started my new business, I created a whole new page just talking to health providers that want to build a business. And we've built a multi-six-figure yearly business just from I don't even know, 3,000 people page.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But it's such a mind fuck of people just wanting to go viral or, and they're just like, well, they don't feel like they have that authority or credibility. And that's why I asked you when I said, like, I think people do care if they're doctor, but obviously you meant something different. But like, no, you're a damn doctor. You have a degree, but you're like, oh, but I only have 500 followers. It's like, you can make really good money if those are 500 of the right followers. Now, often I feel like the first 300 to 500 are your friends and family and college people. So a lot of times they're not like 300 to 500 of the right followers type of thing. But like if you had 500 of the right followers, you can make a great income with that. But there's just online is so vanity metrics focused. So like just people wanting to go viral for the sake of going viral. And it's like, yeah, but you can't sell anything to them. I have a couple healthcare friends that went viral, hundreds of thousands of followers, and they're not monetizing. Now all of a sudden they're like, okay, how should I monetize? And I'm like, well, who's your niche? What'd you go viral on? And it's like some trend that has nothing to do with anything. And I'm like, oh, you're fucked. You're fucked. Start over. Okay, but here's the question.
That's what happens. Then you just picked up, 50,000 followers that followed you for some humorous thing, and you're over here trying to help somebody, optimize their hormones. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but in all seriousness, okay, so you answered like what you would do if you had 0 followers. You would have a very specific niche, and then you would post 5 to 7 times a week to that niche through the different 3 kinds of content. Mm-hmm. Well, there was another step. What was the other step? Didn't you have another thing? I mean, those are pretty much the 2.
We figure out what the niche is. We figure out who the person is first. And then once we know who the person is, I have a whole sheet that we go through that really draws out the desires and their problems and exactly what it is that they're looking for. Because the thing is that the more that we can talk to those micro moments of what is going on in this person's day, the more that they're going to see you in their content.
Right.
And this is so hard, I feel like, providers, because, I mean, you think about it, especially, we'll just say like a family doc, right? You are taught all of these different age ranges, all of these different problems that you are supposed to solve. And now you come online and I'm like, no, you have one person and one problem that we're solving. Mm-hmm. And that is
and they
so
feel very
hard.
limited. Yes.
And that is very hard for people to do. And so when I'm working with people, I'm like, I don't expect you to get your marketing and your messaging down right now, like right away, because you went from being able to help this many people to narrow it down to this, that in itself was difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got the niche down. Now we dial more into her exact problems and what her exact desires are. And it's a process to get people there
Mm-hmm.
because I believe that we're so used to focusing on so many different problems.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you recommend as far as when people, let's say they had a viral moment or whatever, and so they're joining your program and they're like, well, I have this account and it has like 4,000 followers. We're not going to say, 100,000, but like it's got like 4,000 followers because of this thing I posted. Like, do you recommend starting over or do you recommend like trying to pivot that account?
Start over.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, most of the clients' accounts that we have, we're starting from zero. And actually, it gives you a good fresh start. So if you have a page, for example, that you were just using friends, family, whatever, you're showing pictures of your kids, your dog, your ski trip, that's fine. But that's probably just friends and family that are going to engage with your account. It's not necessarily people that are going to buy from your account. So we create new pages specifically for the business, directly speaking to the person that we want to work with. This way, as you're creating the content, you look at those 100, 200 followers, they're going to be people that you want to work with. And so I'm constantly looking at the followers with them as well. Like, who are the people that are following us back? Is this our ideal target market? If it's not our ideal target market, then we need to switch the messaging. And what happens a lot with the providers that I notice is that they might be trying to help a client, but they'll get a lot of other providers that follow their page. And a lot of times it's because they're speaking very educational instead of speaking like to the client. So that's the biggest problem that I find is like once we start to build, how do you differentiate this so that we're not speaking to these providers and that your content is
You're like,
speaking to
damn it,
these
you're not going to buy my shit. Get out of here.
clients, right?
Unfollow me. Um, okay, but there is this like credibility. Okay, so we both love to preach that like you do not need thousands of followers to make money. And that is true. So what I'm about to say does not counteract that. I will say it's easier to get trust faster when you have more followers. Like, and I don't know how to help people when they're like less than 300. I mean, even if you find, okay, so just so people understand, like the question I'm asking of like, how do you get people, how do you help your clients overcome that trust issue when you're like less than 500 followers? Like this is a real psychological thing that we as humans, this is not a social media thing, this is a human nature thing, like things more when society is telling us that other people like it. So if let's say you're on your explore page and you're like, oh, that's a funny reel or that's a really great reel. What you do is you go to their bio and now all of a sudden you're looking at two things. You're looking at their follower account pretty much right away and like their bio and their bio picture. And if this follower account is 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000, people are more likely just to instantly start following because 100,000 other people have validated this person is worth following. But then there's this flip side that happens where you're like, oh, I like this reel. But then you go and you're like, oh, they have 211 followers. And like, how come nobody else follows this account? Like, it's a lot harder to get that follow. It really is. Even if your content is good, that person is fighting the subconscious messaging that nobody else likes this person. Are you going to be rare? So like, what kind of advice do you give your clients to help overcome that like low number bias in the beginning?
So I always tell them to treat every single follower like a person on the other side. Because when you treat every person on the other side, this is where the follower count doesn't matter as much. So say that you have 300 followers, but every single person that follows you, you reach out, you welcome them into your community, you tell them that you're happy that you're there. You're going to notice that those people are going to show up in your stories. You're going to notice that those people are going to stick around and build community. And you have to understand that it's not something that just takes off right away, that this is a game that you are playing. This is reps in and reps out. You are showing up, you are serving the people that are in front of you. And if you serve the people in front of you well, it will spread. And why can I say this? Because I started a brand new page, even though I built a multi 7-figure business online. It was like I was starting over. Nobody knew who I was because I built a business in this fitness space. Now I'm coming into the business space. And even though I have a lot of experience, I still had to create a whole new road and a whole new avenue for myself. And it's really frustrating knowing that you're really good at what you do. But yeah, you're starting back at 0 followers again. People are like, oh, whatever, where's the credibility? And I will say that the first year that I was building out my program, that was hard. An ego, it hit my ego knowing that I know that I'm really, really good at what I do, but I'm really not getting the amount of sales that I could be getting in. And so what did I do? I focused on the people that I had and I served them really well. And because I served them really well, my business is growing a lot from referrals. So even though now it's like it took a little bit longer for that to build, but that's why I say that like just focus on the people that you're there to serve. Because what'll happen is some of my clients, they might have this just happened. I had a client, she had 600 followers. She had a page that her post went viral in a good way. So she has
in
like
a good way.
in a good way. So she has 6,000 followers now. And I mean, her posts are blowing up. She probably has like 800 comments underneath one post for her program. And so she's like freaking out because she doesn't know what to do. And I'm like, here's where you're going to go wrong. If you don't continue to treat every single person like a person, and you're just like, okay, I'm going to just set up a mini chat now, and I'm just going to have mini chat respond to all of these people, you are going to lose the majority of those sales. Versus if you go through them one by one or hire an assistant to help you go through those convos and take them as an actual conversation, you are going to have a book full of clients. And I think that this is where like people are missing the mark. There's so many ways to build your business. There's so many automated ways, but at the end of the day, belly to belly, serve your people really, really well, and you're never going to go out of business. It might be a little bit of a slower build, but if you serve your people well, you're going to have the embodiment posts that you're able to show. You're going to be able to have the results that you're able to show, and your clients will naturally get business for you.
So you don't like the new follow ManyChat thing?
I use it. Well, I have an assistant actually that helps me go in. Everybody that follows me, reach out to everybody personally. I don't use ManyChat for that reason. No.
Yeah, we currently have it. Because it's hard because like, one of the first steps is you want to like you're missing the follower and like it's like, well, I want to get them on my email list, and so like the ManyChat automation it's I think you nailed it that we have so many options with AI and automation right now that you can see like, oh, I could grow this way, I could grow that way, I could grow this way. But should we be doing all of them? And I think that I think the ManyChat automation one is one that like we're trying on, and I don't know that I'm super sold that it is the best thing. Like it's like, okay, yeah, we can greet everybody and offer them a freebie, but should we? Yeah, like, but as businesses grow and we're all like learning chat and AI and or like AI and like
I love ManyChat to send over like a freebie or something like that. I love that, but my initial, I don't use it for like initial intro. So an initial intro is all personalized. We reach out, take a look at their pages, like see what's going on with that person, and it's a personalized intro. And then like say that I do a post about something and I want to get my freebie out. I'll use ManyChat in
yeah,
that way.
that way.
But I don't even use it to promote my program. I don't use it for that reason. I only use it to build up my email list.
Okay. Well, when it comes to building from zero, anything else that we didn't cover?
I would say the more that you can get out there and the more that you can like yap, like do like the talking head type of reels, the more that you can show your personality, the faster you're going to be able to grow. Authenticity is everything, and I feel like the more that we're going to see AI videos and AI content, the more that you can be yourself, the more human that you can be. I feel like people are going to be craving that in these next couple of years.
Are you on
Um,
TikTok at all? Like, do you like consume anything on TikTok?
I still TikTok,
Okay.
yeah.
So I've been off, I haven't gone on TikTok in probably like a year, and just around Christmas I went on. Um, and it is very, very interesting for our Instagram folks when she's talking about like just talking and yapping. That's already happening on TikTok. Like TikTok is, and for those that don't know, all trends kind of originate in TikTok and then come to Instagram. So I really do think in 2026 we are going to see such a shift in Instagram content and how just normal it is to just be like talking. And people are
Yeah.
like, "What? Like I'm not doing a lip sync trend or whatever like this." I'm like, You can, but like I think you can look at TikTok and go like, "Oh, that's what's going to be more normal. That's what's going to stand
Yeah,
out."
I think just getting on and like yapping like they're your BFF and just talking to them like friends. Yeah, so I do think that there's going to be that switch, and the creators that are creating the authentic content and just showing up like by themselves are going to be the ones that grow.
Yeah, absolutely. But people don't even know. I mean, it's a whole other thing of like how to show up authentically. Like people, it's so much easier said. Like people are like, well, yeah, of course I'm going to. And then they like show up and I'm like, who is that? Like you don't have to pretend to be somebody else. Like, or you're like, is that, but they like think they have to be the doctor version of themselves or whatever. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. So where can people find more of you?
You can find me at Alyssa Schomaker on Instagram, or you can learn more about our company at freedomcollectivecompany.com.
Okay. And do you want to talk about the program that you're?
Sure. Yeah. So I do run a program. It's called the Online Health Business Academy. It is 6 and 12 months of mentorship, and it's personalized mentorship in a group setting. So you get group calls, but you also have personalized access to me. And it is an organic program. So we primarily focus on either building out your brand, coaching program, courses, mentorship, memberships online using organic strategies.
Oh, what do you mean organic strategies versus like what do you mean by that?
So I don't really use ads in my business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I primarily teach my clients how to focus on building organically on social media versus using ads.
Got it. Yeah, ads are a whole another beast. Absolute beast.
Oh, they are. And the thing is it takes up so much of your revenue that I, so this last year, actually, I went through because I was running ads for about half of the year, and then I stopped running ads and I just started doing organic revenue. And my revenue was the same of whether I was running ads or not.
Interesting.
Yeah. And, so that was really interesting. So I pulled back from running ads and I doubled down on organic strategies. I might run ads again next year. We'll see, just for a little bit more reach. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I really feel like if you can save some of your revenue and learn organic strategies, that's the way to go.
Okay. Well, thank you, Alyssa. Obviously, my computer would like me to be done. No matter what happens, I put it in a new battery and it just puts me back to stripes. So, all right, we will have those links below for people. Go check out Alyssa. She's doing a very cool thing. I think she's neat. We obviously both agree that if you're a healthcare provider and you are not taking a personal brand seriously, there are easy ways to do this. It does not need to be this huge, heavy, scary lift. You don't have to be a different person. It's taking what you already know, who you already are, and just learning how to have a bigger impact with it. So I'll have that below. And until next week, She Slayers, bye.